Hello guys, Chroma here, and in this video I will cover everything you need to know before watching the Calling All Villains pilot episode, which is releasing on Halloween this year. To start off, we have our two main characters, Mr. Puzzles and Mr. Weapons, which both originate from a YouTube show called SMG4. SMG4 was a long-running show by Glitch Productions, which was centered around Mario, Nintendo, memes, and some awesome lore with a side of brain rot. First, let me begin by explaining Mr. Puzzles' story. Mr. Puzzles was a prominent villain in SMG4. He has a flashy and eccentric personality and loves to entertain. He was first introduced back in 2024, being revealed to have caused some huge plot points without anyone knowing it beforehand. Puzzles was made out to be the mastermind of the main cast's adventures and losses over the past year or so. His backstory begins as an aspirational little boy, who is definitely not a recolor of Ness from Earthbound, and he dreamed of opening an amusement park, just like Disney World, because copyright. Genuinely, I don't know how this show got away with all this. But back to Puzzles. His father crushed his dreams of opening an amusement park. This will be important later. So, Kid Puzzles decides to lock himself in his room and watch TV. You might be thinking, oh, he just started watching TV. That's harmless. He probably didn't do it for that long, and it's probably not that important to his character. No. He isolated himself and watched TV for so long that he had seen every movie, TV show, film, and video to ever exist. Yeah, and he became so obsessed with television that he sawed off his own head and replaced it with one. His exact words, "I cut off my face and put a TV in its place!" Ever since this, he dedicated his life to becoming the most famous TV producer ever, becoming super powerful and gaining abilities like mind control, being able to change sizes. How he did this, I have no idea, don't ask. Having his own dimension inside his head, and being able to straight up turn into a TV. So basically, he went from a creative little kid whose dreams were crushed to an insane grown-up TV man who craves power. This ties into the plot of SMG4 when it's revealed that he had been manipulating the main cast into going on crazy adventures and suffering through torture just for views. He had been controlling them using his powers and forcing them to act out parodies of real-life TV shows and movies. He makes a streaming service called Puzzle Vision where he displays these shows that he's directed. I'm not going to explain the entire plot of the Puzzle Vision movie, but to summarize, Mario, yes, Mario from Nintendo, somehow breaks free of Mr. Puzzle's mind control. Puzzle sings an awesome villain song, which, fun fact, was written by Examination, who's making Calling All Villains, so yeah, that's cool. The main cast gets split up and sent into different TV shows and movies and struggle to escape. Puzzles reaches a perfect 5-star rating, making him the most powerful he had ever been. And the movie ends with Puzzles being defeated by our protagonist. And then they basically do a Team Rocket on him and send him flying to his assumed demise. We all thought he was gone, but shortly after it's revealed that he somehow survived this defeat, and Puzzles' new goal is to take over SMG4's meme factory so he can become famous again or something. Yeah. During this time, he meets Leggy, which is basically a version of one of the main characters, Meggy, but turned into a Goomba. Yeah, it's kind of weird, I know. So basically, Puzzles and Leggy become friends. Meanwhile, Meggy hates Puzzles because of everything he's done to the cast, which is completely reasonable, cause yeah, at this point, Puzzles had done some pretty messed up stuff. He had even trapped Meggy in an endless simulation of dying at the hands of her celebrity idol only to make a good movie plot. So yeah, the entire cast all had perfectly justifiable reasons to hate him, especially Meggy. With the help of Leggy, Puzzles attempts to break into the meme factory and succeeds, but then fails. After that, Leggy turns back into Meggy and Puzzles leaves in a fit of rage. This is gonna sound stupid, but Puzzles kills Mickey Mouse and takes over Disney World, which is where his childhood dream comes back into play. He transforms the theme park into his own, creating Puzzle Park. He kidnapped Meggy and forcibly transforms her back into Leggy. Then he traps the main cast in the theme park and brainwashes all the characters except SMG4 and Mario, who are then forced to participate in treacherous games against the evil versions of the main cast.
Meggy, we're friends. You never will let me do this to anyone. Please, think about our friendship. Meggy? Are you finally...
Puzzles, it's Flint!
Oh, sorry. Friend request denied.
Eventually, they find Leggy and turn her back into Meggy. Then there's another amazing villain song. Meggy tries to reason with Puzzles, which kind of works, but it ends with him getting sent to jail. This right here is where Mr. Weapons comes in. Mr. Weapons is a badass robot assassin guy who is the ex-husband of Karen, one of the main/side characters. He had abandoned her after they had kids together and returns many years later to try and start fresh.
Actually, kiddos, I know your mom really well.
Don't even think about it!
And I'd like to get to know you, too, since, well... I'm your dad!
This may sound sweet, and usually it would be, but the thing is, Weapons is a terrible father. He puts his kids in danger and almost ends up getting them killed, which results in him being defeated by his own family.
I need you kids to be stronger. Get up.
Overall, he's a very loud, cocky, angry, and arrogant character who loves violence and blood and, that kind of stuff. Sure, he is violent and narcissistic, but his character also has some depth to it. For one, he actually truly did love his kids. He just didn't know how to be a good father. All he knew was fighting and violence.
You're my friend now.
So his body is basically destroyed in the fight with his family. And things change, however, when Puzzles sees Weapons on the news from his jail cell. He immediately realizes that Weapons would be the perfect person to break him out of jail. He meets this little slimy guy named Toomp in prison. With the help of Toomp, he contacts Weapons and makes a deal with him. Puzzles would fix him and erase the memories of his family, and in return, Weapons would come break him out of jail. The deal goes through, and along with Toomp, Weapons breaks Puzzles out of jail. At this point, Puzzles doesn't give a crap about Weapons. He just sees him as a tool. On the contrary, Weapons slowly softens up and sees Puzzles as a friend. Puzzles has the awful idea to gain Meggy's trust back by using Weapons to stage a kidnapping in which Puzzles would save Meggy and prove that he has changed his ways. The thing is, in order to do this, he would have to betray Weapons in order to become friends with Meggy. He pitches to Weapons the idea of doing a kidnapping, which Weapons hesitates but agrees because he cares about Puzzles. They go on an adventure together, escaping the police along with Toomp, and they actually end up becoming good friends, which wasn't supposed to happen on Puzzles' side. Puzzles starts to feel guilty because he knows that he would have to double-cross Weapons, whom he's actually starting to have feelings for. But he goes along with the plan anyways. He betrays Weapons, telling him that they had nothing between them, and they have a huge fight.
You don't get to just walk away! What about the breakout? Running from that fridge? You even offered to erase my memory!
Oh, spare me the dramatics!
You, me, and Toomp? Thought we were a team! We're friends!
Don't you get it, you idiot! There was nothing between us! You mean nothing to me! A mere means to an end! There's only one person who could ever truly be my friend!
You don't deserve real friends. Not anymore.
During this, Meggy realizes how this whole thing was a charade orchestrated by Puzzles, and she hates him for it again. After this, Weapons nearly kills Puzzles, and they get separated because the police are looking for them. Puzzles then has a breakdown, realizing what he had done and how much he regrets everything. Weapons and Toomp go off by themselves and try to lay low, while Puzzles realizes what he has to do.
That's when I realized there was only one way to right my wrongs. I had to change the past.
And this artifact was the missing key!
He gets the YouTube remote, which is an old artifact from the show, and uses it to rewind time. He attempts to fix all the problems that he had caused, while Weapons is hunting him down and the main cast is trying to stop all this. Puzzles realizes that he can't change the past and needs to answer to his mistakes, joining the main cast and trying to save the timeline. There's an awesome rap battle and villains from the past come back and Weapons joins them in the fight, and it's really cool but also sad. After the villains are defeated, Puzzles surrenders to Weapons.
I'm not asking for forgiveness. Whatever you feel like has to happen next, it's up to you.
He knew that he should pay for what he did to him. Weapons beats him up really bad and nearly kills him yet again, but in the end they make up after Puzzles doesn't fight back and sincerely apologizes. Yay, happy ending, right? I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, but there's a massive rip in time and space caused by all the time travel and fighting. Puzzles is ready to sacrifice himself and jumps into the rift to try and close it, but he can't do it alone. Weapons realizes this is how he wants to go out. He gives SMG4 a letter, telling him to give it to Karen. He then goes after Puzzles, helping him close the portal. In their final moments, Puzzles apologizes to Meggy.
Maggie! I've wronged you more than I could ever atone for. We'll never be friends. And maybe that's how it always had to end. But if my leaving brings you even an inkling of peace, then at least I did one thing right.
With that, the portal closes with Mr. Puzzles and Mr. Weapons inside. This is the last we saw of our duo. And a few months later, the show ends after nearly 15 years. This was last December, which leads us to March 2026, where it was announced that Zamination is continuing Puzzles and Weapons' story, bringing us to now. And you can guess the rest. The portal took them to different places across the universe, and each of them think that the other is dead. There is no doubt that they'll meet up again in the show, and I also think it has something to do with this ominous logo, but that's about all we know for now. This has been everything you need to know before watching the Calling All Villains pilot, which comes out on Halloween this year. Stay tuned for more indie animation-centered content, and thank you for watching!